Anil Rajvanshi, a well known academic and director of the Nimbkar Agricultural Research Institute, says there is an epidemic of student suicides in India. Citing official figures from the National Crime Records Bureau, he says 13,000 students committed suicide in 2022, and it's quite possible that the unofficial figures are much higher. The number is at least 2,000 more than the politically charged epidemic of farmer suicides caused by crop failure and resultant debt problems. Rajvanshi, who is a Padma Shri honoree, India's fourth highest civilian honor, says for some reason student suicides are not getting the kind of national attention they so urgently need, given that they have a direct impact on India's future generations. He spoke to Mayank Chhaya Reports. Anil Rajvanshi. Welcome to Mayank Chhaya Reports, Anil. It's always a great pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much.
Unfortunately, the subject we are going to talk about is rather somber and deeply troubling. So, I read your piece about what you describe as an epidemic of student suicide in India. In that context, you've quoted some rather striking figures from India's National Crime Records Bureau to say that in 2022, 13,000 students committed suicide, which is staggering. Which is a staggering number. And people have been talking about farmer suicide, and rightly so, but this number is even 2,000 more than the farmer suicide for that year.
Yes.
Tell me what's going on. What's your takeaway from this?
Well, the students are under tremendous stress right from beginning. We have become an exam passing society,
Right.
and somehow the society puts a lot of pressures, and they think that if the students will perform well in exam, they will go ahead, without even thinking that by cramming and by just becoming zombies, they will not achieve anything. But they don't want to spend any time with their children. They just tell them to go and to the school and attend some coaching classes, and they think that their work is over. So right from beginning there is so much of fear, and this fear becomes really a powerful mechanism in the brain. So any time, and it gets very highly strung, so any trigger, because saying that is the exams which made them commit suicide, or love affair, that is the wrong thing, because they are already so highly strung that anything can trigger it. And I think it's a very sad situation. These are the future of our society, and if we cannot take these people properly forward, what type of society are we going to give? Now the farmer suicide is a very different picture thing, because again the farmers are committing to suicide not because there's a failure. After all, there was a much more bigger failure of crops in the before independence. Their expectations have increased. They want money,
Right.
and when they don't get money, they go and borrow from at a very high interest rates, and then those people, they start putting pressure, and they don't know what to do. So these are all greed expectations, and I do not know what can be done to do that.
Right. For millennia, India has had tradition of deep and profound learning. This
Yes.
notion of grades as the deciding factor is a relatively recent one. I mean, say 50, 60, maybe years. Not even that, in my judgment. Why is it that people are confusing good grades with acquiring genuine comprehension of what is being taught?
You see, I think it started with the British time. British time, you pass an exam, and that was a passport to a job, either in government or whatever it is. So passing the exam became a very important thing. And then naturally, with the pressures that came in, because there was number of schools were less, number of these institutions were less, and the population increased, so that it became even a bigger thing. And then all these coaching classes, they have become even worse, because they put even more fear in these guys. Now, you see, if you, after all, there's no harm in getting cramming or doing so many things, provided the teachers tell you why it will be useful. To We have lost all curiosity. The moment a boy or a girl asks anything questions, they are immediately shut, because you have to learn and you have to pass exam. Now, when you come into that stage, in that process, the curiosity goes away, inventiveness goes away. It simply becomes a machine of passing exam and getting certain grades.
Right.
And then, for example, IITs now almost 10, 15, 20 lakhs. We don't have any numbers for some few thousand seats. So it is not a selection, it is a rejection.
Right.
Exams are made by people who, by the professors, they themselves cannot solve those exams in the time allotted.
That's quite remarkable.
Yes, it is. So this is very strange society, and we have now the whole technology, we have the whole world. What is required is to tell these youngsters that there is a much bigger world than simply going for engineering or doctorate or something else, and to learn to become happy is the most important thing, because then the inventiveness will come.
Right. Right. But again, Anil, this is a long-standing observation. Uh, on the one hand, India has had a glorious tradition of doing things with hands, handicraft, things like fixing things at various levels. But on the other, I find in the last 3, 4, 5 generations, doing things hands on has practically disappeared.
Yes.
People can't fix things. It's looked down upon. It's almost like it's below, at the lowest rung of society if you can do things with your hands. Why is that cultural shift happening? Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, because you see, it's the teachers. I got from one of the major IIT student, BTech, MTech, PhD in mechanical engineering. He did not know the difference between the plier and a screwdriver.
Whoa. Yeah.
I
Think of
have not only one, but there are many cases where I have gotten from some of the top IITs, MTech and engineers, and they don't know a damn thing about engineering, because the professors, they themselves are like that. They teach the students just coding and sitting on the computer. So when they themselves do not know how to work with their hands, what will they do? For example, once I went to IIT Kanpur, and I interacted with the students, and I said, because I went to see my old hall, and I saw that the taps were leaking. So I said, "Why can't you repair it?" No, no, we have given an indent to the repairman. I said, "You are a mechanical engineer. Take a
absolutely.
plier, take a screwdriver, and repair it. And by doing that, you will learn more engineering." So this is just not built in us, right?
But there is almost contempt for people who do things like that. You know,
Well, contempt, I would not say, but yes. And I'll give you another example. When I came back, our institute is around 8 or 9, 7 or 8 kilometers from the town. In those times, the town was very small, and the bathrooms were absolutely dirty because nobody came to clean. So I told, put a notice. There were 30, 40 scientists, and I said, we'll all clean it. And there was a major revolt. They said, this is not our job. So I said, okay, I, the director, will show you how to clean it. So I put the handkerchief on my nose. I took the broom and everything, and I showed them. And I said, whoever will clean with me will use the bathroom. Otherwise, you can go out. And they all went out.
I mean, it takes me back to 1900s, 1905, 1906, when Gandhi was enforcing that in
Correct,
South Africa.
correct, 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 correct,
Just
correct.
think about in over 100 years, nothing has changed.
No, nothing has changed.
Yeah.
And
No,
so this is
coming
what it
back.
is.
Yeah, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, this is what it is. We just feel that this is beyond our dignity. Work is work. Anything that you do, that helps. So there's no
Absolutely.
such thing as
No, sorry, we digressed a bit because I took you in a different direction. You write that this is the India has the highest number of student suicide in the world. Now, that's something that I don't find any national level societal debate on that. Why is it that?
well. They are debating in institutions like IIT IITs, ISC, etc. Because those societies, they come in the notice that they have a lot of news item, etc. But they are somehow are not able to solve it. Now I'll give you a simple example. When we were students in IIT Kanpur, there were no internet, etc. Used to
Right.
fight all the time. Used to be, whether physically or otherwise. So there was a tremendous interaction. That interaction is missing now. These guys sit in their own room looking at the movies, looking at the SMS, the etc. So that human interaction has gone. And when you have this highly strung brain with no interaction, with no discussion, then these things happen. Now, as far as the why there is no debate, etc., it is always put on the carpet. No, no, this guy was already some mental problem, so this happened.
Yeah. But I'm sure some people would turn around and say in a country of 1.4 billion people, 13,000 students committing suicide is no big deal. So I'm sure there are
This-
people who make an argument
right?
like that.
Yes, yes. But what happens is that one suicide affects 10 other students,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you're
and that
talking
is
about
a very
students a day committing suicide practically.
yes, 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 yes. And
And
by the way, this number is official.
right.
Unofficially, it must be much higher. And plus, this number is 2022. They have not released the number of 23, 24. So,
Do you and say you also write that Maharashtra has the highest percentage of suicide, student suicide in India. You live in the state. What's your explanation? Because Maharashtra is a premier state.
yes,
On the face of it, it has everything going for its people. What do you think is going on there?
because the expectations are much more. People
Hmm.
who live in Bihar, their expectations are not that much because they are not seen. But
Right.
here, the expectations are much more. So everybody wants to excel in everything, and in fact, that is the main reason why so many youngsters, people who can afford, not even afford, they take a lot of loans, and they are telling their young students to go out.
Right. Right. A feature that I've noticed, which is, I mean, it's always been true in America, but I find it is equally true now in India, that young people just do not read.
Yes,
I mean,
yes,
they may be reading a few things on the devices, phones, etc. But as a practice of reading, it has just completely disappeared. And that it reflects on the way they articulate a point, the way they talk, the way they structure the language. It's forget English. I'm not talking about whether they can speak English. I'm saying even Gujarati, Marathi, Hindi,
yeah,
वो भी शुद्ध
yeah.
नहीं बोल पा रहे हैं.
Yeah. So basically, क्या हो रहा है कि when you have focused so much on just passing exam, they don't have any time to do anything else. And not only that, you see, whatever I am today is because of the humanities courses that I took in IIT Kanpur.
Right.
And in fact, I personally think that the humanities are the most important subjects that one should teach, and ethics
Absolutely.
and everything comes with that. Now today, when they are not, they don't read the great classics of Indian literature, the great classics of, there's so many things. India is a very, very rich ancient society, but the no focus is there because everything is focused on passing exam and how
Right.
to get into this competition. In fact, even in IITs, for whatever reason, and that is a very sad thing, the number of humanities courses have reduced.
I see.
So, for example, when I was, it was a 5 year program, I took 9 humanities courses. The whole
That's
spectrum from psychology, so, my economics and political science and philosophy, everything. And today there are few courses, and I think the numbers have, I do not know the exact number,
right.
and the focus is not there. And I personally feel that the focus should be on reading because reading allows the mind to have its own movie. It allows the articulation. It really makes your mind work very nicely, which you will not get by SMS or on social media.
Right. One of the rather troublesome consequences of the boom in IT and these related fields like even the invention of mobile phones, and now mobile phones are everything, right? It's
Yes.
practically your bodily extension for
Right.
most people.
Right. Right.
Uh, this addiction for reels and shorts
Right.
on mobile phones, it's dangerously eating away attention spans. With that being the case, is there any pushback at all from any quarter in India that says that, listen, we have to stop and think about what we are doing to ourselves?
See, people keep on talking about it, but how will you implement it? For example, in our school that we have, my daughter is running the school. There is a strict instructions that no mobile phones will be allowed.
I see.
But then there's a tremendous reaction to it from the parents and etc. How will we know that our children are safe and so many things?
Right.
So the question is this, that it becomes very difficult to reinforce, or to how do you implement this? Number one. Number two, implementation cannot come by force. It should be that if you start reading, because today with the whole phone and social media, most of the youngsters have become like animals. They just react. Human brain is a powerful tool for reflection,
Right.
introspection, assimilation. That is gone. So they cannot even spend 5 seconds on reading anything, and
Right.
that's a very sad thing.
Yeah, I mean, look behind you, a whole series of books. You can see that, right? I'm sure you've read all of them.
Yeah, I'm actually running out of my space, so I'm putting some more shelves
Yeah,
of.
the same here. But here is that you also write about the fact that perhaps one of the solutions is to make school environment more interesting, more
Yes,
curiosity driven. Are
yes.
there any schools or pockets in India which are doing what you're saying?
I think there are a lot of them. People are realizing now, and I think the people who are setting up new schools on the modern pattern, they are doing that, but it will take some time. The general mill is always still, you go to the quota classes. In fact, all IITs have their huge number of classes around the IITs. Just focus on getting, and in fact, the I don't know whether I should be telling this. Once I went to one of IITs, and this guy came in a very fancy suit and with a lot of gold in his hand, and he thanked the professor. Ki, sir, I must thank you because you failed me 3 times, and if I had passed, I would still be rotting in IIT as a researcher. I left everything and then I started the coaching classes, and I hire people like you.
So I'm sure that's true. That's true. But in that context, Anil, how do you look at India's education policy? Because it goes to the very heart of what we are talking about. I mean, student suicide, if they feel compelled to take the extreme step of ending their lives, there's something amiss in the way education is conceived in India.
Well, I think the education policy, you see, the policies are quite nice because they have to look at everything. The question is this, I do not know whether you have read the India's new education policy, which was formulated 4 or 5 years ago.
I did. Yeah, somebody
Aha.
sent it to me. Yeah,
Yes. Now, all those policies are fine. Where are the teachers?
true.
That's all. This is what it is. You may put everything, all the beautiful things in that, but somebody has to teach. And teachers don't come by paying them high salaries. Teachers are born. Teachers are there because they want to teach. They want to influence the young minds. And when most of the IITians or most of these colleges, in fact, you'll pass, and then in the next day you will become a teacher in one of these colleges. What type of so this is a very sad thing. I've written so many articles on this. I feel very sad because this is the future of India.
Absolutely, absolutely. Tell me, I mean, to wrap up, where do you think the answers will come from in a way that, I mean, you can never eliminate suicides altogether, but at least minimize it to the lowest possible point. What do you think is your prescription for that?
Well, first of all, understanding and realizing that this is a very major problem. then interacting with these youngsters, especially the parents, they have to spend more time with their parents, with their children. Today, they just send them to school. They think that everything has been taken care of. When they come back, they tell them you just sit and mug up so that you can pass the exam. If they spend time, because you see, the children know the parents are the most important people in their life. And if the parents can assure them that, listen, things are not that bad, whatever is happening, we'll take care of you. They feel a certain sense of betterment of whatever it is, and it can really help the process of suicide much more.
On that note, Anil, I want to really thank you for your time. I'm glad you are focusing on this rather serious issue, and hopefully things will turn around soon.
Well, that's my hope, but I think it's a very long process, and the whole society, whoever is in my position, etc., we should all work together in trying to help this out. One
Absolutely.
person cannot do it, and we just have to understand that. That's all.